Good morning, welcome back to another solo run on the RetroBrown channel. Today we are doing a solo run with Exeggutor in Gen 1 Pokemon Blue. Evolution of the Exeggutor line, and doesn't get another evolution till Gen 7 with a Alolan Exeggutor, but still, I actually kind of like this guy. It's got a decent typing, and pretty good base stat total. Calby, you are going to be our rival for today. Thank you for subscribing, welcome to the channel. Now let's have a chat about Exeggutor. With that base stat of 520, you'd think it's going to be extremely good. It's got 125 in special, which is ridiculously high. Very good HP attack and defense, but quite mediocre speed. Not the worst thing in the world when you've got bulk of, like, Exeggutor's stature. The big problem with Exeggutor, though, is its move pool starting out. Starts off with Barrage and Hypnosis. Hypnosis, completely fine. Good move. Barrage is completely god-awful. We don't learn another move by level up until level 28, which is Stomp. Yeah, this is the final moveset you actually go against with the Exeggutor in the final rival fight, the champion fight. And my god, why would they just give an Exeggutor with this sort of base stat total, that only those three moves? It's really weird. But either way, when you look at its TM move pool as well, still not great. You don't get Body Slam, you get Mega Drain, which is great, you get Psychic, which is great. And you can also learn Egg Bomb via TM. Why can't it learn it via level up, which is boggles my mind for years now. But still, very, very shallow move pool, but I think it might be enough to make it work. We'll soon find out anyway. The big challenge we've got to contend with straight away, though, is going to be Brock. Well, I say it's going to be the first challenge. We've got to go against all the bug trainers in Viridian Forest, because there is no way in hell that Barrage and Hypnosis is going to get us through that Brock fight. Big problem about Exeggutor being a grass psychic type, it is 4 times weak to bug. Thankfully there's no bug type moves in Viridian Forest, but still, we're going to take big damage from Poison Sting on Weedles, but we do need that experience. And that's another thing that's really annoying about Exeggutor. It's a slower level up group than like your normal Pokemon, and that means that we're going to have to go against as many fights as possible. We are going to have to train up in the grass before we even have a chance of beating Brock. Another bad thing about Barrage as well, it only has 20 PP. Now if you're going against Brock and you've got to take out 2 Pokemon and you're doing maybe 1 damage per hit, I mean, look at this here, we're going against Sweedle here, we've ran out of Barrage PP already. So we're not built right now in the early game for longevity in fights. We're trying to get rid of all of our Hypnosis PP so we can actually struggle, but at this range we might actually be able to take ourselves out with this. Yep, recall damage takes us out. When we finally do make it to Brock's gym, we're at level 8 after going against all mandatory trainers up until the Light Years trainer. This isn't looking good starting off, and we have lost so much time in the early game just trying to get through Viridian Forest and trying to level up this Exeggutor. And we even lose against the Light Years trainer. So we loop all the way back to Viridian, get some more experience here. We go against the rival Calby on the west of Viridian. And this fight, thankfully, a lot easier. The Charmander doesn't use any moves apart from Growler, and we take him down pretty comfortably. Meaning when we go into the fight in the first Brock fight, you're going to see how much of a chore this one is. I'm really kind of hating on Exeggutor in the early game, but that is just the thing, it is very bad in the early game. As soon as you can get the likes of Mega Drain or even Psychic, this Pokemon will become good. But at the moment, with just Barrage and Hypnosis, we're really not in a good position. And it's not like we can even increase like the value of our moves when we get to Vermilion, because we can't get Body Slam. So what are we actually going to have to rely on? Well, to be fair, we probably will get Stomp before we even get through Rock Tunnel, just to be able to make it possible, because Barrage is just an awful move. We are dealing decent damage out against Brock here. We've managed to get all the way to the Onix at level 14, but Barrage is just such a bad move. And yeah, thankfully Bide is not doing all too much damage. I mean, Bide works in this generation where if you hit him with a multi-turn move, it only counts for the very first turn of that move, which is good because it means we can try and get more hits off with Barrage and then you take minimal damage. But still, we've nearly run out of Barrage PP, and thankfully, because of the Onix and very good RNG, last struggle actually gets us the win. yeah, very long-winded. It is a first-time win, but that is not an easy fight and not easy to level up with. When we get to the next route of the challenge, where we're going to the east of Pewter City, I actually just opt to go for a struggle-only strategy to get ourselves through these fights quicker, just because Barrage is such a bad move. I genuinely hate this move, and I'd rather you struggle and take that damage until we've run out of potions and then just continue on. Here against the Rocket as well, we see our first instance of the 4x weakness that Exeggutor has, and that's when we get hit by Leech Life. And even though Zubat is not a good Pokemon, I mean, I proved that in my solo run of it, it's a fun Pokemon to use, but it's not a good Pokemon. Leech Life still did considerable damage on us. Going against the Super Nerd, not too much of a problem, but that brings us another problem to deal with later on. That is the abundance of poison types throughout this game, which we are weak to. We are 2 times weak to that. And of course, we're also weak to flying, so to be fair, some of the most frequent types that you see in this entire generation are the ones that Exeggutor is just not built to take on. Going against the Goldeen in Misty's gym, of course, we only barely scrape by at level 17. Now, we've gone against a lot of optional fights here as well, and we're already only at level 17. Can we actually make it past Misty at this range? Of course, Misty has got Water-type Pokemon and a Water Psychic-type Pokemon. If we can get them to sleep, Barrage will do okay damage, but keeping them asleep is the problem. They seem to wake up very quickly in this fight, and that brings us into the Starmie. Getting it to sleep is primary objective number 1. After that, we can just use Barrage until we can take it down, and actually opted to stop using Hypnosis and just go for the Barrage spam. And because of our bulk, we actually do manage to get through. They weren't using their Water-type moves as well because we're a Grass-type and they see that as resistance, so the AI will not let them use Water attacks. That brings us to the rival on Nugget Bridge, and we're actually matching the level of his Pidgeotto. Annoyingly, we do get hit by quite a lot of sand attacks before we go into the second Pokemon, the Abra, but thankfully it's a free fight, so we don't worry too much here. That brings the Rattata, and unless we'd got a 5-shot Barrage there, we would have taken it down. The Charmander now does have Ember, and annoyingly we get burned, which is not good because Barrage is a physical type move, and we need to deal out as much damage as possible, so the burn is working away at us here. We're missing because of the sand attacks, and finally the Charmander wakes up to take us down. This is just an awful moveset. If it had a better moveset, like, I have no idea why this thing can't learn Body Slam. Genuinely don't know why. It's a big body on legs, a big tree on legs. It should, in my opinion, learn Body Slam. I don't know why it doesn't learn Psybeam or even Confusion on level up. Like, the only other Psychic type move that's actually can do damage is Psywave. So, yeah. On the SSM, we are going to pick up the Rest TM because there is not much else to work with here, but it is going to help us in longevity in fights because of the bulk that Exeggutor does have. So what we're going to do, we'll put his Pokemon to sleep with the rival fight on the SSN and barrage our way to victory. That is pretty much the only strategy we have got to work with. I can't wait till we get to Celadon. We can actually pick up some useful TMs. Because we can learn Hyper Beam, we can learn Egg Bomb. Egg Bomb actually might be a shout to go with. Just because I don't like using Double Edge, even though, to be fair, Double Edge would just be better, really. But either way, when we get to Celadon, we'll chat about that. Let's talk about Lieutenant Surge. Surge is very defensively weak on most of his Pokemon, so Barrage, it's still not dealing out great damage, but it's fine to use. That's all this Pokemon really is. It's just a fine Pokemon in the early game. It's not anything amazing. It's just okay. And thankfully, we do resist all of Surge's moves. And that means we can put his Raichu to sleep, not take much damage, and barrage our way to a victory. But these fights are just taking ages when you rely on barrage. It's just not great. And what makes this even worse is going to be the Exploding Hiker in Rock Tunnel. Now, because we have decent bulk, we don't have to worry too much about the self-destructs. In fact, that's actually what we want to happen here to get through the fights quicker. Because we've got rest on our moveset, we can actually tank hits very, very well. As you can see there, one self-destruct, not doing all too much damage to us. Rock Throw is doing decent damage, but we just rely on the Exploding Hiker doing as his name says, and exploding to victory. At level 28 in Lavender Tower, we finally learn a decent move with Stomp. 65% accuracy, well 65 power, 100% accuracy. My god, my words are muddled up today. And that makes an absolute difference in this fight. We can we can put to sleep his Pokemon, and from there we can just stomp our way to victory. Thank god we got this move when we did, because Barrage is still just an awful move. Still awful. Beating the rival, now we can finally go to Celadon City and pick up some new moves, and my god, we need these so much. Now, because Egg Bomb is actually it's a signature move of this line and the Chansey line. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Chansey can learn it as well. Because it's learned on so few Pokemon, I actually am going to pick it up and use it over Double Edge. So yeah, I am going to pick up, it's I think TM37, let me have a look. Yes, it is. So yeah, we've picked up Egg Bomb. We've actually got a decent move to work with now, even though it doesn't have the greatest of accuracy. And of course, we're going to go and pick up Psychic. And there's one more move I want to pick up before we leave Celadon. And that is Mega Drain. We want to pick up the Mega Drain TM to go past, well, once we've beaten Erica. And thank god we went and picked up Psychic before doing this fight, because it just makes it such an easy battle. A whopping 125 special makes this an absolute cakewalk when you use Psychic. By far the best move that we can actually learn for an Exeggutor. Solar Beam I don't rate all too much because it's a 2-turn move, and I would only use it as a real last resort, but still, Mega Drain is decent to have because then we can actually deal with ground types now and recover HP at the exact same time, so it's worth having that variation on your moveset. Giovanni is no problem to this Pokemon now we've got these moves, and the rest of the run massively speeds up from here. And that's what we want, because we've lost so much time in the early game. We need to recuperate some time. And the best place we can go and do that is after Lavender Tower, we go straight to Silphcore and head up to the 5th floor. We don't need to go up to the 10th floor because we don't want Earthquake. What we want to do is go and beat the rival down. So, I'm just going to show you here how quick you can get through Silphcore without even needing to go against any optional fights. This guy here is a mandatory fight, and he's only got one Pokemon. So if you've got Psychic, it's an easy one-shot. You don't lose too much time. And then you go through this teleporter, through this door, and you're at the rival. So there you go. 4 mandatory fights in Silphcore if you do this method. And by far the easiest way I've managed to get through. Now, we really faced a problem when we went against the rival here. We lost so much HP against the Pidgeot, and most of his Pokemon would not go to sleep. Thankfully, Egg Bomb is dealing out decent damage, and we decided to try and get some HP back against the Gyarados. It's not super effective because of its sub-flying type, but still, thankfully it stayed asleep for quite a while. We got backwards to 92 HP before going against the Alakazam. We Mega Drain up a couple more times just because we need the HP to deal with the next Pokemon coming out, and that is Charizard. Once we've got it to sleep, Psychic away for the victory. And he takes 3 Psychics at level 35 to take that Pokemon down, so that's quite surprising. So let's see how we do next on the Giovanni fight. Giovanni is not a problem for an Exeggutor. In fact, I would say it's a Pokemon really built to take on his gym. It's a very good Pokemon to take on a ground or a rock gym when you've got the moves to work with, because Brock was a very annoying fight right at the start. So let's see how we do against Giovanni. He sends out his Nidorino first, and we're going to go for the Psychics. When the next Pokemon comes out, of course, it's going to be the Kangaskhan, and we're going to go straight for Psychic again. And then go for Rhyhorn on Psychic. You know, it's just going to be a Psychic Sweep. Screw Mega Drain, we're going to go for it. Psychic Sweep, we're level 37, and while we're here, we're going to go against Sabrina. Because we've got Egg Move on our moveset, you know what, it's going to be fine to get through this one. Sabrina, of course, has got 4 Pokemon, a Kadabra, a Mr. Mime, a Venomoth, and an Alakazam. And most of them are quite defensively weak. So we want to try and keep our HP up against the first Kadabra, because the next Mr. Mime coming in. To be fair, I'm trying to keep my HP up as much in this entire fight, because that well actually no, the Venomoth is going to be the biggest threat on this team. It can use Leech Life, it can use Poison Powder, and we got absolutely trashed by it. Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier with the 4 times weakness with Leech Life. Even though it's only a 20 base move, it's the best bug type move in the game, unless you're a Beedrill and you've got Twin Needle. but still, it did that much damage when we're pretty much the same level as it. It's crazy, crazy weakness to have to bug. I think it might be the only Pokemon in Generation 1 that has a 4 times weakness to bug. Unless Paris and Parasect do, but I don't think it does. Yeah, I think this is the only line to have 4 times weakness to bug. They really don't like the little critters. After that, we finally get a win against Sabrina. And the next gym badge we can go for is going to be Kogan. And there's a big reason why I left this for the next gym. Yeah, we're not doing very good against Poison either. So, let's head over to Koga's gym and see how we do against the big man himself. This is going to be a bit difficult. So we are quite defensively bulky, but not really when it comes to our weaknesses. Good thing we can actually outspeed most of this fight, and I don't know what I was actually worrying about. We just got a full sweep with Psychic. 55 base speed, and I forget how slow the Coffin and Grimer lines are. And that means we can get an easy badge there, easy experience, and head on to the Safari Zone. Once we picked up Surf, of course, we can then head down to Cinnabar Island, because we need to go and get the secret key from the Pokemon Mansion. The Pokemon Mansion you can actually get through without fighting any optional fights. It's actually a very, very simple route through, and I'll show you this right now. Once you've gone up the first 2 flights of stairs, you flip this switch, jump down the hole, or you actually... I said you don't have to go against anybody. I've completely whiffed that up there. And we've went against an optional fight, but it's all experience at the end of the day, and we're definitely going to need that for the fire gym coming up. Once you've jumped down, you go down the stairs, flip this switch in this room, loop all the way back around, avoid this guy, flip this switch, loop around. You can pick up a rare candy here if you want as well. And there's actually another rare candy here we can pick up as well. But I'm not going to pick it up today. We are going to pick up Solar Beam just in case. Just because I've used it on pretty much any of my runs, so why not have it? And once you get to that point, dig out of the Pokemon Mansion, you go straight back to the Pokemon Center. Make sure you have gone to the Pokemon Center beforehand, though otherwise it does throw you back to the last town that you were in and you used the Pokemon Center. I'm actually going to forego actually fighting any of the optional trainers here in Blaine's gym. Yes, it means we're going to be at a massive weakness, but I feel like we can do it. I feel like we can. Blaine, of course, has got 4 Pokemon, like most of the other gym leaders, and if we can outspeed, we're going to do fine. We outspeed his first 2 Pokemon using Psychic to smash them through. Then we get hit by Fire Spin, and this is bad. If they just keep spamming Fire Spin, we are absolutely screwed here. And, yeah. Fire Spin, I really hate the move. It never works for me, and yet, whenever the opponents use it, it just works perfectly. So, eventually, after a few tries, we went up to level 45, and we still can't outspeed the Rapidash here, but we get much better luck with the Fire Spin. Thankfully, Fire Spin does not have the greatest of accuracy, and that is the way you get out of it. We're at 45 HP going into the Arcanine, but 2 Embers do take us down. So let's give this one more try. If we can get much better luck against the Fire Spins, we don't have to worry too much in this fight whatsoever. And this time we hit the Hypnosis, mitigating any damage coming our way from Fire Spin. We hit the Hypnosis on the Arcanine and Psychic for the win. Should have been doing that strategy to start off with, but hey ho. So with 7 gym badges, that now brings us to the 8th gym, and a very easy 8th gym for us as well. Let's see how we do. Giovanni's going to start off with Rhyhorn, so we go for the Mega Drain. That means Dugtrio comes out, and again we go for Mega Drain. Now the Nidos come out, and we just smash them both with Psychics, leading just the Rhydon, who is cowering in the back, and a Mega Drain gets us the win. We didn't even lose 1 single point of damage. And that just leaves the league. The Pokemon League is going to be a mixed bag for this Pokemon. It's going to be super effective against the start of it, but may struggle towards the end. But here's a good challenge to see how we will do. First off is the Pidgeot with the rival. You can recover any HP with Mega Drain on the second Pokemon, but annoyingly we get poisoned by the Exeggutor. My god, our own bloodline is just is really annoying me now. Okay, Exeggutor takes down the Gyarados. We're going to go for Egg Bomb on the Alakazam, but he goes for a Fleck, which mitigates the damage. That's not a great scenario to be in, so we're going to use Mega Drain to try and get rid of the Reflect. Well, at least stall out the Reflect, and also keep our HP up in the meantime. That brings us to Charizard, but a Flamethrower from this range is just too much to deal with, and Psychic is not a one-shot. So we need to try this again. I do think it's possible at this range, and that all came down to having bad luck against that very first Pokemon. So this time round, we still get poisoned by the Execute. That's so annoying. Two Egg Bombs will take it down, and we can put the Gyarados to sleep straight away and keep our HP up with Mega Drain. Literally the only thing I can think of here. We did get rid of Rest in exchange for the moveset we've got, but yeah, Rest would have been great to have kept till here. Really would have been a great move to have kept. Okay, we finally got through to the Charizard. We're going to go for Psychic. Flamethrower puts us on 4 HP in a very lucky high range of a Psychic gets us the win on 4 HP. That was very close. If we'd taken the poison damage, we would have lost. Okay, that just leaves the Pokemon League. And we are going to struggle a little bit against Lorelei because we are weak to Ice-type moves, being a Grass-type. We won't worry whatsoever with Bruno because it's Bruno, come on, he's weak to anything special. Agatha won't be too much of a problem, but Lance will be a problem. But let's see how we do against Lorelei. We put our first Pokemon to sleep and use Mega Drain, deal out big damage. Then I realised, you know, probably better switching from Mega Drain into using Psychic for that Pokemon, because there's more Pokemon it's better to use Mega Drain on, and we've got to keep our longevity up in this fight. Egg Bomb's going to do big damage against Jinx, but Ice Punch did way more than I was expecting, and we take a loss. So it looks like we're going to have to go for Hypnosis on that Jinx. Thankfully, we get the Dugong asleep straight away. The Cloyster comes out. It doesn't do all too much damage, and we can heal quite a lot against the Slowbro. Annoyingly, it does start using Growl, and this means that Egg Bombs will not do as much damage, and that's not great because we really want to be using physical type moves against the Jinx. Still, it only took 2 hits, and then we put the Lapras straight away to sleep, Mega Drain away for the win. So it didn't take all too many tries, it was probably about 3 or 4 tries, but we still managed to beat Lorelei. Bruno, on the other hand, it's a one-shot, come on, it's Bruno. Mega Drain, Psychic, Psychic, Mega Drain, Psychic. That's all we need to do this fight and sweep it completely. It's really not much else to talk about when it comes to Bruno. He's just that bad of a trainer. Let's see how we do against a real trainer, and that is Agatha. So Agatha, of course, she's got Poison and Ghost-type Pokemon. And that's a good matchup for us because we're outspeeding. No, we're not really outspeeding, but we are hitting hard with Psychic. We're getting decent luck with the stat inflictions. And we only take 1 Nightshade and Confuse Ray before Gengar gets taken down, so we get a first time win. I actually thought we might have struggled in that one, but not too much. Let's see how we do against Lance. So Lance, of course, is a Dragon type trainer, but I consider him to be more of a Flying type trainer because more of his Pokemon are Flying than they are Dragon. We need to keep this Gyarados asleep, and we need to take it down fast. We don't want to be hit by Hyper Beams in this fight. The Dragonair comes out, goes for Hyper Beam, and yeah, that's how much damage a Hyper Beam does. So we need to keep the Pokemon asleep, we need to keep our HP high. Annoyingly, we are not a Grass Poison type, so we are going to see a lot of Hyper Beams in this fight. The Aerodactyl does decent damage with a bite, but Mega Drain does way more damage than I was expecting there. He even kindly used the Hyper Potion on himself to make sure we get back up to full HP. And that brings us into the final Dragonite, where that was a misclick on Mega Drain there. We want the special drops on Psychic, and we managed to get on the first one. Meaning the second one did way more damage, and with the first time win, we can head through to the champion. Let's see how we do. Calby is standing in front of us, making sure we don't get that championship belt, or the medals, whatever it is we actually do get. And this Pidgeot is just trashing on me again. I hate this Pidgeot. When you're going in with a tight weakness to the Pidgeot, it really does a lot of damage to you. We need to make sure we can take out this Alakazam as quick as possible as well, and we actually get a special drop thanks to the Psychic it did on us. It means Mega Drain, even though it will one-shot a Rhydon, our Psychic and Mega Drain's not going to do anywhere near as much. We're relying on Egg Bomb a lot here. We take down the Exeggutor, and that brings us into Gyarados. Now this would be a good Pokemon to get our HP back on. We get a critical hit to start off with, and then we get hit by Leah. Next up, we'll just get it back to sleep, and that just leaves one more Pokemon once we take down this Gyarados. But annoyingly, he goes for a full restore, and then he hits us with Leah again. So our moves are getting boosted by the badge boost glitch here, because they are, the opponent is like decreasing our stats, but the badge boost glitch increases stats elsewhere. We go for the egg bombs on the Charizard and we get a win. Level 59, quite happy with that. That's a decent level to finish at. Actually, anything under level 60 I think is a good Pokemon to finish at, but we did lose a lot of time. As you will soon find out, with 4 hours and 2 minutes, yes. This is a very middle of the road Pokemon to do a solo run with. You will hate the early game, but you will love the late game. I do recommend it if you do want a challenge, but just be warned, that early game, not fun whatsoever. We have only got 3 Pokemon left, so this time I'm only going to spin it once to choose our Pokemon for next week. And my god, I'm so happy that we are nearly done with this. It's very, very exciting. Which Pokemon have we got? Machamp. Okay, next week we are doing a Machamp only run, leaving only Moltres and Marowak left after that. Very exciting. Let's see how we do. If you got to this point of the video, guys, and you've been here with me since the beginning, thank you for subscribing, you legends. We will see you next week for the Machamp run. We are nearly there, guys. Nearly there.